Are you ready to explore colors? Let's get started. In this session, we are going to be continuing seeing the basic elements. We saw drawing a cloud, a house, some flowers, and a tree in the previous session. If you haven't seen that yet, go ahead and click the link on the description and see that. Now, let's get started with drawing the other basic elements. So the sun, the moon, and the stars are some very common objects that we usually use in drawings and paintings. Let's see drawing a sun, moon, and a star. So the most basic drawing of a sun is going to be a circle like that with haphazard triangles around it, and sometimes we even include a smiley face for the sun. When we do paintings, we can't really do this. So what we do is we make a perfect circle using one of the three methods that we saw. We make a circle, and then you can kind of shade out the rays of the sun. This is kind of better than the first type we drew. The third kind is going to be like a shade, like not a perfect circle but a shaded out circle. You'll probably shade it in yellow, and instead of perfect rays, kind of shade in and out the rays of the sun. Right? And then most pictures show the sun to be between a couple of mountains, like a sunrise, and that time the sun is just like here, and then you kind of see the rays of the sun over here. Okay, so these are the types of a general overview of the sun. But when we draw a sun, we always draw it with colors, and we'll be seeing how to color the sun properly in our next session. So the next thing that we draw most often is a moon when we draw night paintings. A moon can be either a full circle like this, make it white and make the rest of the paper dark, and there you have a moon. But the moon is in its full circle shapes only only one time a month. On the other times, the moon is not a perfect circle like this. So to make a moon like a half moon, we can draw a semicircle, and kind of shade out the edges of the moon rather than drawing a perfect line. So that's kind of like a half moon. And for a crescent moon, you can do it in two ways. Go ahead, draw a circle. Then kind of draw the start of another circle and then erase away these portions, and you got a crescent moon. So the crescent moon can be looking anywhere. For example, if you do that, this one is looking sidewards. If I wanted to look a little more to the top, like upwards, we can make this shape look up too. Like this is the curvy line that we draw, so we curve it upward, and then this would be our moon, right? Okay. Now for the stars, we generally do like that, which makes a star, or that's a 6-point star or a 5-point star, like triangle, triangle. It's all both two triangles. That, either that or triangle number 1 and triangle number 2 intersecting. Or you can just make 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, like we do with a hexagon, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. When you draw the night sky, you won't be making stars like these. You'll just be making dots like these to represent the stars. Now another common thing that occur in paintings are grasslands. So for grasslands, you can either, like if this is going to be the landscape, we can either draw a semicircle, a half of a semicircle or curved line like that, another one like that, and maybe one more like that, you know, and then on the top color them dark green, and as you come down you'll have lighter greens, and that would be a grassland. That is something that's looked at from far away. How about if we see it up close? You should be able to see the blades of grass. So for grass, make a curvy line, and from the top part of it make another curvy line connected to the bottom. So a series of grass are not all going to look the same. So the next one, a little away from it, but bending the other direction. Then one that goes straight up to the top. So we have 3 here, which means there should be some behind these as well. So let's go ahead and draw a half grass over here. And then just the top part on here, on here. So we are still using the lines that we practiced in the earlier session. We are just making curvy lines, like all these lines are gently curved lines, but when we put them together we get other shapes or elements. So you can keep extending this in both ways. And a set of grass doesn't only have grass, it also has some flowers. So let's go ahead and make a small flower over here. There. So we can make one more flower over here. Okay. Now try extending this all the way to the ends on both the sides of the paper. Okay, so that's another element, grass, that is common in most pictures. And the last element that we are going to be seeing is water. So water in a picture can be of many types. It can be either rain, or a river, or a waterfall, or a glass of water, water in a pot, or drops of water, or a water puddle. So we can draw all kinds of water. So let's get started with, and it's really easy to draw water too. So let's get started with rain. So to draw rain, which is one of the most simplest, so I'm just going to divide this paper here to draw the various types of water. We'll be seeing 6. So first one is the rain. So to depict rain, we can make little oval shapes like these, all in one direction, of varying lengths, and when you put them together it will look like it's raining. Another type of rain is just making little drops, little lines like these, putting the pressure on the top and then just letting go on the bottom, like these, and making sure that you are varying the sizes and making sure you're varying the sizes of the raindrops. Okay, so when it rains, it forms puddles. So a puddle is just some water on the ground. So let's make a weird random shape. So that's a puddle. To make the water effect on it, just make strokes like these, small minor strokes, especially outlining the corners on the inside, kind of like that. And that's a puddle of water, and we can just add a little strokes on these sides and kind of create a shadow here, and that's a puddle of water. How about if there is water on a pot or a glass? So I'm drawing the oval here to represent the top of the vessel on which there is water, and we just make small circles around it like that, like random curvy lines in there depicting water. So that this is in a container. Now let's do water in an ocean, or in an ocean. So ocean has waves, so we will do wavy lines, and these lines should not be uniform or consistent, just like random lines, and the edge of these lines that is closest to the viewer, to the edge of the paper should be darker. And as you go, these lines become lighter and lighter. So I'm not using a different pencil, I'm just differentiating the pressure that I put on the paper, like how hard I hold the pencil to the paper. And that's how you draw water on ocean. And if this is going to be the beach, you can even add a line, like a random line like these, because when the water touches the land, it is not in a line anymore. And you can make this one the darkest of them all. Now how about a river? Water flows in a river, and in a river the water has a path. So we first establish where the water is flowing. So let's say this is where the water flows, and it's all the same, I mean it is water, so you kind of shade little waves on there. And then with the river there is also a current that flows. So this is how the water is going to be flowing, and it's going to be flowing in waves. So kind of highlight, very gently highlight little waves like these, and then kind of shade in. I'm gonna use a pencil that's really sharp, so that I can use its sides to shade it in. Especially around the edges, shade it in like real thick, and then random lines in the center. Then finally we come to waterfalls. Waterfalls are mostly waterfalls of a mountain. So we have a rough mountain here, and the mountain is made up of rocks, so we kind of draw little rocky shapes. So rocky shapes are just random wavy lines in circles or ovals or semicircles. Generally what rocks on the top are smaller than rocks on the bottom, so let's follow that rule too. And the water is going to be falling over here. So let's just make So I'm holding the pencil in the overhead position because it's going to be much easier. And then just make random lines like these. You see how it starts like really thin but then widens out? So that's how usually waterfalls are. And we are making smaller patterns here, strokes here, because instead of going all the way from top to bottom, we kind of make smaller strokes here. The reason being those kind of show how the water flows. And then we can go ahead and fill in these spots of the rocks because the rocks are still there. They're just hidden by the water. And there we have a waterfall. So hope you had fun drawing uh, the various styles of moon, the sun, the stars, and water, and the mountain. So go ahead and make your own versions of all these paintings, of all these. In the next session, we'll be adding shades and shadows to all the basic elements and the shapes that we have drawn so far. So have your pencils, your watercolors, and either your color pencils or crayons ready. Have fun. Bye bye.